More than 4 million refugees have now fled the war in Ukraine. They've escaped to bordering countries like Poland, Hungary, and Romania. That's where one Bartlesville pastor recently traveled. 2 News Oklahoma's Katie Kelleher shares his experience there.
City Church pastor Scott Turner calls the experience overwhelming at times. He spent about a week in Romania helping refugees who crossed over from Ukraine with nothing but some blankets and a few belongings in their hands. Pastor Scott's church, City Church in Bartlesville, supports children's homes in southeastern Romania, not far from the Ukrainian border. When they began to take in refugees, he decided to travel there himself with just 72 hours notice to see what he could do to help.
You could definitely sense the fear and just the anxiety all around them with what's going on.
He shared these videos of refugees entering the country. Many came over on foot and had to ferry across the Danube River.
It was one of the most heartbreaking things, of course, knowing the situation, but then just seeing a mom with 3 or 4 kids. They're all carrying whatever they can carry. They have blankets on them. It was just under freezing.
But amid the heartbreak and fear, joy as some families reunited.
I saw a grandma and a grandpa, Ukrainian from some other nation, but they met them there, and they probably hugged out in the cold. I want to say for 10 minutes. They were just huddled in this family huddle, and you could just see and feel the joy that they had been reunited.
Pastor Scott says volunteers provided food, blankets, SIM cards, and transportation to the refugees. Their children's homes house anywhere from 20 to 35 refugees each night, mostly women and children. He says the city they're in came together to support them.
It was heartbreaking knowing that we could meet some needs, but to think of all of the border crossings, this is one small border crossing, to think of all the other ones in Moldova and Poland and other nations where they're just pouring out. It's heartbreaking.
Part of his trip was also spent securing transportation and food to send to those still living in Ukraine, where he says they're facing a shortage of supplies, especially food and water. No matter the challenges, some are staying in their homes.
I think for some, absolutely the right thing is to get out. And maybe more will follow, but I think it really is more of that. This is our home. We're going to stay and defend it. And what we're seeing, I think, to the death.
Pastor Scott says his biggest takeaway from this experience is do something, whether it's donating to an organization to help Ukrainians or even just praying for them. Katie Kelleher, 2 News Oklahoma.